Hi guys, Stephen here, back with another video. This one is titled David Bixenspan Ruined Brian Kendrick's AEW Debut. It was 3 weeks ago now. Brian Kendrick, he had just quit his trainer's job in WWE, and he was scheduled to wrestle John Moxley on AEW Dynamite. And basically, Bixenspan, he encouraged the pile-on with Kendrick. He really did. The video, where Kendrick, he's talking about all these, conspiracy theories, and it was from 8 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. And some of them were just, flat out silly, like, the whole, oh, Elvis is still alive, Michael Jackson's still alive, shit like that. And, admittedly, though, there were others that were offensive. The Holocaust one, probably, that would be the most offensive one. The whole thing about the Holocaust. I don't think he ever said that it didn't happen. It's just, apparently, all the amount of, Jewish people who had died, that number was way less. That's what he was claiming. But, yeah, that was ultimately that thing, I think, was what got him removed from appearing, removed from being on Dynamite. But the thing is that really gets me, though, and it annoys me and it pisses me off, it's this guy, David Bixenspan. And, you can't help, though. I mean, if you follow a bunch of people in the wrestling, WWE, AEW guys, whatever, this guy will come up on tweeting, it's all this stuff propped up by the algorithms, and shit that he'll come out with, Bixenspan and all these other people like Sean Ross Sapp and what have you. And, this guy, David Bixenspan, he's supposed to be this wrestling journalist, it's a joke. And apparently, he's written articles for Forbes, which obviously shows that their standards, have dropped. It's not the Forbes, the quality that, website, magazine, whatever, back in 2008, 2010. No, standards have dropped. They have gone way down with Forbes. But just when you look at this guy is just like, David Bixenspan, he's just like this omega cock, Dungeons and Dragons nerd, man. He's a disgusting piece of garbage, really. And I'm sorry, we're all human, we all have feelings, but this guy, though, he don't help himself, And the thing is with Bixenspan, he didn't upload the video, all right? Bixenspan, no, it wasn't him who uploaded it. It was uploaded a few hours before Bixenspan started shooting his mouth off. But, he made it a point to spread the word about that, over some dumb shit that Kendrick had said 10 years ago. That's what got him removed from AEW Dynamite. He took food off his table. I mean, the thing is, Brian Kendrick, he shouldn't have been, using air quotations, cancelled over some dumb shit. He said in an interview, like I said, 10 years ago, after, smoking too much weed, watching too many David Icke videos. I mean, you got to put it into perspective, right? He was a wrestler starving, right? He was a starving, a starving artist on the indie circuit at the time. And he's coming out with this shit. Probably because, he was at that point like a lost soul, more or less. And we're just going to judge him and all that shit. We're going to punish him. I mean, the thing is, this is the thing about Brian Kendrick. This should really put in, this is the thing that Bixenspan, he could never appreciate this. He would never have the mental or emotional capacity to appreciate this at all. Never. Kendrick, when he came back to the WWE in 2016, right? It was late 2016, I remember, and he was doing the rest. I didn't watch it, but he was wrestling on that Cruiserweight Classic thing. And you had Brian Danielson, obviously, Daniel Bryan in WWE, on commentary. Now, those two guys, they know each other. They were both trained by the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And I believe they both probably, from what I recall, did the indies, in their little, when they were, living off of whatever it is, baked beans or whatever it is that, when you're starving, you don't have money, when you're on the come up. And frickin', I think they would have wrestled a little bit when they would have been around in Ring of Honor at the same time, 2003, 2004 time. But these guys go way back, right? Brian Kendrick and Daniel Bryan, they go way back, right? And, they were interviewed in the back afterwards about this whole Cruiserweight Classic thing. And both of them broke down in tears. Not just Kendrick, but Daniel Bryan. Kendrick, it meant the world to him. To be now in a position where he could maybe get back in the spotlight, make good money. And then you had, Daniel Bryan at this point, he's maybe, a millionaire, multi-millionaire, but it's still, seeing what it meant to his friend, he broke down in tears. But Bixenspan, he would never appreciate that. He's a shit-disturbing little fuck who goes out his way to cancel others, or tries to. He tried to pull this shit with Cody Rhodes, right? And I'm not huge on Cody Rhodes myself personally, but, he was claiming that he wanted to, I think he said that Cody wanted to start like a wrestlers union, but apparently when he got asked about it, he took it back later. And I don't know, I haven't seen the actual quotes, but this is probably just Bixenspan fishing for shit, to poke at people, to judge people, to make himself feel morally superior. But the thing is, though, I mean, Tony Khan has talked about this, and Tony Khan, Tony Khan treats his talent a lot better than Vince McMahon does. Let's not kid ourselves, He has his flaws and shit, but he treats talent well. And I think Tony Khan has talked about how AEW was going to have, it wasn't going to be like WWE. They were going to give these wrestlers a pension. They were going to give them health benefits. That's a start. So don't be getting all SJW woke over this whole wrestlers union thing, David, pal. But the annoying thing is with Bixenspan, I mean, I don't know how he managed to build up quite a big following in social media where he's got all these followers. He gets a lot of likes in his tweets. I don't know how he did it. I mean, a lot of people, they play this game and they play it well. I've got to give him that. And maybe he's just bought a lot of followers, it wouldn't surprise me. But you've got people at AEW, though, right? You've got people at AEW like MJF. Tony Khan, a freaking multi-billionaire. Tony Schiavone. Jim Ross. Britt Baker. They all follow Bixenspan on Twitter. And all these other nerd wrestling journalists that kiss their ass and convince themselves that these guys are their pals. But that's the thing that pisses me off. It's starting to piss me off a lot more now with AEW. The people in AEW. The MJFs of the world. The Tony Khans of the world. The Britt Bakers of the world. And even Buddy Schiavone and Ross. They're playing that game too. They're pandering to these SJW folks. It's disgusting. I mean, because they're a bunch of just nerds with no real serious interests outside of watching wrestling. It's a joke. And then, you had a lot of these people in the company, they encourage pylons. I mean, okay, you get a lot of trolls that say some stupid, dumb shit, right? But, I mean, there was this one time, right, you had, it was the girl Nyla Rose, right? And then some troll was saying some dumb, offensive shit to her about being transgender, right? But then she came back, and it was something to do in his profile about how he's like a Christian or something. And then, she came back to him with some shit, and she did delete the tweet later about saying, oh, well, that's why God made you handicapped, because, you're anti-trans or whatever. But again, you can't just, I'm not condoning what the troll said, but I can't, there's no way I could ever condone what Nyla Rose says. And I've seen some of her tweets on Twitter. She does seem to speak a lot of just shite, really. But then going back to David Bixenspan, though, I mean, there's one guy who hates his guts. Jim Cornette, he hates Bixenspan's guts. He's trolled the fuck out of him before. And trust me, I'm going to put like for David's standard, a fairly nice, flattering photo of him for this video. I mean, there's way worse photos out there of Bixenspan. I mean, it's sad. I mean, I thought when I first seen David Bixenspan, in my mind I thought maybe a fairly normal guy, normal looking dude by wrestling fans' standards. But this guy, it's bad. Trust me. There's a reason why he doesn't have a photo of himself as his profile pic. Trust me on that one. But closing thoughts in this video. I mean, I really do hope that Brian Kendrick won't get cancelled though. I hope that if he doesn't go to All Elite Wrestling, because I imagine Tony Khan probably won't bring him back, right? I hope though that he can still be all right, in the independent circuit, make a living and get some bookings. I really hope that for him. Bixenspan, he shouldn't be allowed to, to spoil all that and fuck Kendrick's shit up. He shouldn't. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on all that. Take care. See ya. Peace.